Frances Hall's life took an unexpected and shocking turn on October the 10th, 2013. What began as a seemingly ordinary day in San Antonio, Texas, soon turned into a high-speed chase, a tragic accident, and even the death of her husband, Bill Hall Jr. But was this just a tragic accident, or was there something far more sinister at play? Let's uncover the dramatic story of Frances Hall, her husband's affair with a younger woman, and the relentless pursuit that ended in a fatal collision.
It's an emotionally charged plea for mercy from a woman convicted of killing her husband by forcing his motorcycle from the road.
Frances Hall took the stand in her own defense during the punishment phase of her trial.
Frances and Bill's love story began in the late 1970s when Frances was just 16 years old. By the time she turned 18, the couple was married with their first child on the way. Their life together appeared to be a dream come true. Bill was a self-made man who built a trucking empire from the ground up, amassing a fleet of 128 trucks and a fortune of $15 million. The Halls were the epitome of success, respected and admired by their community. But as the saying goes, not all that glitters is gold.
You love me, honey? I love my honey.
Behind closed doors, Bill was a man with a dark side. He had a passion for risk-taking and was known for his numerous affairs. Despite his success, Bill was far from satisfied, and his wandering eye would eventually lead to his downfall. In 2010, Bill met Bonnie Contreras, a 28-year-old former dancer with a taste for the finer things in life. Bonnie knew Bill was married, but the allure of his wealth and the lifestyle he offered was too tempting to resist. For 3 years, Bill showered Bonnie with lavish gifts, luxury cars, sparkling jewelry, exotic vacations, promising her that he would leave his wife for her. But Bill's promises were empty, and as time went on, the affair became a ticking time bomb.
He turned me into a woman that I wasn't before I met him. I started falling in love. I started warming up to him, warming up to his ways, to his fetishes.
By September 2013, the affair was no longer a secret. Bonnie, frustrated with Bill's reluctance to leave his wife, took matters into her own hands and called Frances, revealing their relationship in a cruel and contemptuous manner. Frances was devastated by the betrayal, but rather than walking away, she attempted to salvage her marriage. However, Bonnie's relentless taunting and Bill's continued infidelity pushed Frances to her breaking point. On October the 10th, 2013, the day that would change everything, Frances spotted Bill riding his motorcycle on the highway with Bonnie closely following him in a Range Rover that Bill had recently purchased for her. Fueled by rage and betrayal, Frances made a split-second decision that would have irreversible consequences. She turned her Cadillac Escalade around and began a high-speed chase, determined to confront Bonnie. What happened next was a chaotic and deadly pursuit. As Frances chased Bonnie, the tension escalated. Frances attempted to signal Bonnie to pull over, but Bonnie, perhaps sensing the danger, refused to stop. Instead, she allegedly slammed on her brakes in an attempt to provoke a collision. The three vehicles, Bill's motorcycle, Bonnie's Range Rover, and Frances' Escalade, hurtled down the highway at terrifying speeds. Sensing the danger, the other driver on the road called 911 for help, as Bill's two lovers were now in a cat-and-mouse race, and there was no escape from it.
Fair County 911, what is your location?
I got a black Escalade and a black Range Rover driving on the, passing people on the wrong side of the road on 1604, going towards Highway 90. They're traveling at a high rate of speed, 90, 100 miles an hour, acting like idiots.
In the heat of the moment, Frances' Escalade collided with Bill's motorcycle. The impact was so severe that Bill was thrown from his bike and his boots were knocked off by the force of the crash. Bill died at the scene, his body lying on the highway as the tragic consequences of a love triangle gone horribly wrong.
I feel somebody hit me from behind. She was in front of me. Bill didn't know she was behind me yet. And Bill was on the bike, and then she just kept ramming me.
I just saw Escalade sideswipe motorcycle, and the man needs medical attention immediately.
I don't want to picture it.
Francis was immediately arrested and charged with felony murder and aggravated assault. The trial that followed was a spectacle, with the prosecution painting Francis as a woman driven by jealousy and revenge, hell-bent on eliminating her husband's lover. The defense argued, however, that Francis never intended to kill Bill, that the collision was a tragic accident exacerbated by Bonnie's reckless behavior and Bill's own risk-taking nature. At first, she was taken to jail for questioning, and it was evident from her speech and words that she was in her senses while harm was inflicted, even though she didn't intend to kill Bill. But her own actions had caused dire consequences. And then her dramatic trial began because the whole nation wanted to know the truth, and it received a lot of attention from people countrywide.
I did not hurt my husband. I have lived this for 3 years. I would have never hurt my husband.
After an apprehensive trial, the jury found Francis guilty, but her sentence shocked many. A mere 2 years in prison for each charge to be served concurrently. Some saw the sentence as a reflection of the complex emotions and circumstances and what we say in law language, sudden passion that led to the tragedy. Others believed it was far too lenient for a crime that resulted in a man's death. Francis herself maintained that she had never intended to kill her husband, but the consequences of that fateful day were unavoidable. In 2018, Francis was released from prison and she was welcomed with a big party at her home. Her grandchildren were waiting for her, and her relatives were all there to greet her as if she was coming home from winning a medal. Francis' story doesn't end here, as maybe she loves getting attention. In 2022, she was once again in the headlines, this time facing charges of insurance fraud related to her trucking company. If convicted, Francis could face life in prison. Despite the new charges, Francis continues to deny any wrongdoing, but the shadow of her past looms large, casting doubt on her innocence. So was Francis Hall a woman driven to the brink by betrayal and heartbreak, or was she a cold-blooded killer who allowed jealousy to cloud her judgment? The truth may never be fully known, but one thing is certain. The choices made on that October day in 2013 led to a tragic chain of events that no one can ever undo. If you found this story as gripping as we did, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to support us. And if you're craving more, click on the video that's popping up on your screen. Until then, take care and goodbye.